All right, y'all. As you can see, we're out here outside today, and today I'm working on the '04 Dodge Ram 1500. The rear brakes got replaced on this less than a year ago, and unfortunately, they have warped. So what I'm going to have to do today is I'm going to have to replace I want to replace all of the brake hoses. As you can see, these two are the two that run from the lines. This one actually has, this is the passenger side. This one has part of the line made onto it. This one is the driver, or I'm sorry, my apologies. This is the passenger side. It does not have a line made to it. It is ready to accept them. This fitting here is ready to accept this fitting right there. Okay, that works out fine. You might be saying, well, why are you replacing the brake line? Is the old one rusted or bent up? Well, no, it isn't. I'm going to get to that. Here is the driver's side, okay, the left side. This has the line, part of the line made onto it. Now, when you get under the vehicle, though, there is one little problem. Oh, and this is the center brake line, or hose. Okay, this comes down from the chassis and goes down to the rear axle. Okay, now this has rear disc brakes, this truck does, so that's why you have 3 separate hoses in the rear. Okay, but let me get a light and I'll show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Okay, we're back under the truck now. As you can see, right over here, this line is made onto that hose right there, okay? So, there's really no way to get those two apart. And that metal line is one continuous piece all the way over to the junction block right here. Okay, that metal line that goes in, that one from over there is already disconnected from the junction block. That junction block has here's the hose that comes down from the frame. Okay, right there it is. Now, why would you go through the trouble of replacing all these hoses? And what does that got to do with the rotors warping? Well, it's like this. The interior lining of a hose will break down, and when it breaks down, that interior lining will break down and it will tear away. Now the exterior of the hose will look fine. There'll be nothing outwardly that will tell you that there's something wrong with the brake hose, but the interior lining will tear away and it'll act like a little flap in there. And when it does that, you will have brakes, you will step on the brakes, you will have brakes, the brakes will work. But what happens is that the hose, that flap in the hose, and there can be multiples of those in there. Okay, it's not just one place that can happen in the hose, it can happen in multiple places. So all those multiple places where that's tearing away inside, it will affect that and will cause the hose to act like a one-way check valve. And it will continuously keep pressure, residual pressure, on the caliper and drag the pads on the rotor. And that, combined with you using the brakes ever so often, will cause the brakes to overheat and will cause the rotor to overheat, and then therefore it will cause the rotor to warp. So that is what will happen. Now this truck is an '04, like I said before, so it's got a few years on it. This isn't something I would expect to do on something that's, you know, less than 10 years old. So, you know, if you're like me, you want to keep your vehicle quite a long time, then you'll probably want to do this. Just discovered something here. So, yeah, the exterior of that, the exterior cover that has been rubbed away, but the rest of the hose seems to be okay. So, all right, okay. So I'm going to get busy here and get the rest of these hoses and lines off. If you're doing this yourself, be aware that I cannot find this all together, okay? Everybody shows just the short hose, just the hose, like this here, okay? Just that. That's all they show. They do not show the entire assembly. So I'm going to have to just replace it like it is, and that be that. And then I've got a new line I'm going to put in here. I'm going to bend it up, shape it. I've got to get the old one off first. So I'm going to bend it up and shape it to fit all of this. And when you're getting these clamps off, bend them up just enough to get your line off. Okay, do not go crazy. Okay, and there's one bracket up here on top that bolts on. If I can get the, yeah, see, it's right there. And there's a little bracket, a little clamp that just holds the line in place, the metal line. And then this right here is just a fitting, okay? That fitting holds that junction block in place. So then, of course, when this is all done, you got to bleed the brakes. So I'll probably try to do a gravity bleed if I can. All right, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to show you a little bit more. Okay, y'all, we're back. All right. Now this one here, this fitting, I've already broken it loose. It's just a 12 millimeter. Okay, the fittings on both sides of this junction block are 12. It's a 12 millimeter. Okay, so yeah, both sides, same size. The bolt right here, looks like maybe it's a little bit bigger, probably 13 millimeter. And that's probably going to be like 16 millimeter maybe. I'll get my tools and I will check and make sure. Do yourself a huge favor. Spray everything down with penetrating lubricant as soon as you can. That way you're not fighting all of that. There's a clip up here, and I'll show you that a little bit later. But first, I'm going to just focus on getting this one here replaced first, and then I'll work on the bigger portion. Let me get a wrench. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, this hose right here is the breather tube hose, okay? So these are difficult, and basically I have not really found a way to take these apart without destroying them. Okay, that clamp, that is. There's just no way I've found to do it without just totally destroying the clamp. So what I'm going to do is just get it off of there. Turn it around here where I can get to it. Y'all can see it. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Well, I don't have to destroy it after all. How about that? Usually you have to. Okay. All right, so that nipple, that's just the nipple for the breather. This breather hose just goes up the frame right there, and there's like a little plastic end on it that just allows the differential to inhale and exhale air, allow air to come in and out whenever the differential is in operation. So that's all it does. So, and be right back. Sorry. Okay, y'all. All right. Got some sockets here. Ratchet. So what I'm working on here is getting the banjo bolt broken loose, and 15 millimeter head. So yeah, you will, when you take this out, you will see some brake fluid come out. So, and so yeah, gonna make a mess. Unavoidable though. Now this is your banjo bolt. Do not, let's see, get over here where it'll focus. Okay, you see that? Two things. One, you got a little copper washer right there. And two, this has a hole in it. It's hollow. That's where how the fluid transfers through there into the caliper. Okay? So from the hose through this and into the caliper. So that means you don't tighten this to, 150 foot-pounds or something like that, something crazy. You tighten this down to just, a little bit, and then you leave it. Okay, you tighten it down to where it stops leaking. Now these copper washers, save them, because, well, in my case, the new hoses only came with 3 copper washers, and I need like more than that. So, yeah, and sometimes some of the copper washers you get with new hoses or new brake parts is not that great. So there we go. Now I'm going to get that little bracket loose. So yeah, 13 millimeter. And you'll notice the part, one of the old copper washers there has stayed put on the caliper. Yeah, so like I said before, just keep up with them. You'll probably have to reuse them. Definitely keep up with your banjo bolt. Okay, you'll have to reuse that. Yeah, there we go. Now sometimes, yeah, if you can let go and put the penetrating lubricant on everything, like the night before or maybe a day or two before, that's going to help tremendously. See, like I lubricated this bolt the night before and it came right out. So, alright, so there we go. Whole thing out. And when you go and lubricate all this stuff, look there. That just came right out and it turns. No issue, no problem. So, alright, so now, got my new one. Here we go. So, make sure your old, you got all your copper washers off of your old one. I'm just going to reuse these, and should be just fine. I'm going to clean up a little mounting area right there. Got a little crud in there, looks like. You saw all the brake fluid that came out of there, so it will take a little bit to bleed this. Which, by the way, there's your bleed screw. So you'll need to make sure. I've went and lubricated that last night, but I think I'm going to hit it again with some lubricant. Some penetrating lubricant, that is. So here we go. Oh, need to get some brake parts cleaner. I'll be right back. Alrighty, y'all. Back, and I've got my banjo bolt cleaned up there a little bit. And got the fittings, or the washers, washers on. Make sure you got one on both sides. This hose pretty much only goes one way, so it's not that big a deal. Alright, so, yeah. Do not cross thread that. Just be calm and easy going with it. So now do not be surprised if the line is a little bit, the new line is a little bit too long or something like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pull this back into place. And I'm going to put this bracket, put that bolt through that bracket, bolt it down. Trying to do this one-handed. Okay. Now you will get brake fluid all over you, so, or at least all over your hands. Hopefully you don't get it all over you, but if you do, well, this thing's a little bit of a devil to work with. A little difficult. There we go. All right, that's better. So, go ahead and run that down. So I'll tighten that down real quick. Put my bandage bolt down. Now if you notice my hand's up here and not down here on the ratchet, the reason why is I don't want to put a lot of torque on that bolt. I just want to snug it up. Okay, that's all we need to do. All right, so little dilemma is, it looks like the new line is just a bit too long, but that's okay. I'd rather it be just a little bit too long than too short. So now I'm going to focus all my energy on throwing my light around. Actually, now I'm going to focus my energy on getting that new center line hose down and get the new one put in place. There is a little clip right there that just slides out. You have to pull it out. And the best way I've known to do it is to use some pliers. However, you can use a screwdriver or a pry bar even. Yeah, I'm right here next to the spare tire, so okay. If it wants to come out. Yeah, this. Okay. Let's see it from the other side over here. I may have to use a hammer and a pry bar on that one. Yeah. Okay. All right. Got to get a couple of tools. Be right back. Okay, y'all. What I'm going to do is that clip. Too many things in the way. All right. There's a clip. Right there. Yeah. That clip has got to come out. That clip has got to come off. And I'm going to just use a pry bar. First, I'm going to try to just use a pry bar by itself and see if I can't just pry it up and get it out of the way. Okay, I'm going to have to set the camera down and I'm going to have to just get at it with a hammer and a pry bar. So My apologies. Okay, I'll try to aim this up there so maybe you can see something. So, anyway. Let's see here. Just get it to move a little bit. That'll be good. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. Alright, yeah. That's what I wanted. Okay, alright. There it is. It's just a little horseshoe-shaped clip. And there's two different ways to put this on. Only one way really works. So let me get this, let me get the get that line out. I've already broke the hard line loose, the fitting there. I've already broke that loose. That's a 12 millimeter. Those fittings on there, they're 12 millimeter. So yeah, you can see right there, it's just 12 millimeter. And yeah, it's 12 millimeter right there. So what I'm going to do is finish unscrewing that the rest of the way out. And lots of times these lines, these tubing nuts, line nuts, fittings, they will seize to the brake line themselves. So that's something you gotta be aware of too. Gotta watch out for that. Oh, man, didn't want to come out. Got brake fluid on me. Okay, but there's the old one. Yeah, there's the old one right there. Okay. Get the new one here. Get that dude on. Let's see here. Okay. Here we are. Okay. Let's see. That was up there like that. It was like this. So, yeah, the L-shaped portion was facing the left side of the truck, which kind of makes sense. Alright, so if you look at this, the end of this, this is not perfectly round. Okay? It's not perfectly squared off. This side, this portion here, is actually... there's no hex right there. It's rounded off. And it's made that way because it fits up into that bracket right there on the frame a certain way. So, and that's what I got to do. I got to get that in there so that it fits in there a certain, because it fits in there a certain way. There we go. Just like that. So see, it just goes in there like that, and it fits in there. Now that clip I showed you a while ago, it goes on the back side. Okay, so see this clip. Yeah, there we go. That clip fits into that groove right there. Okay, see, so that's what it does. It fits into that groove. So, and it holds, and it goes in like, just like that. Okay, that way it holds this hose in that bracket on the frame. So that's what I'm going to do next. So now we just set the clip down. Go like that, and I'm going to go ahead and start the brake line itself and start threading that nut into the new hose right there. So, all right. Let's see. Can I put you all here? Let's see. All right. So anyway, kind of difficult to do, but just make sure you do not cross thread your brake line going into the hose. Okay. So now I'm going to put the clip on. The clip you just shove it on there. Basically, it goes in that groove like I showed you earlier. Takes a little force to get it started. And once you get it started, you're going to treat it a little bit like a nail. Go. All right. And of course, don't forget to tighten your line up. Your fitting. That clip holds that hose in place so that it doesn't move around, and so that I can tighten that fitting like that. So now, get you off that axle there. I had you up on the rear axle. So now we got the new hose in, as you can see right there. And we got, gonna put that little nipple fitting for the air, where did I lay it down at? I must have covered it up. Something. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, this fitting here. It's going to go on the rear axle to locate the hose so that that's all secure. So we're going to do that next. And where's that hole at? Ah, right there it is. Okay. We have to work with it a little bit. They sometimes can get a little fiddly. Do not tighten this down until you got your new lines started in there, okay? Into the fittings there. So don't tighten that nipple down until you got that, got everything started. The brake lines already started in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this one. Now, the new one here on the left side is a little bit too long. So, let's see. So, I'm going to have to kind of custom tailor that thing just a little bit the way I want. So, I have to put a little bend on it. Just got to be careful not to kink it. So, just pull it down, pull it back towards me just a little bit. we are starting that new line. I did have to bend it just a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Like I said, you don't want to bend it too much because you can kink it. That can be really bad. I'm going to leave it just loose. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way because I got to make the other line. So there we go. See? Right there. So I got to make the new line that goes across from the passenger side all the way over here to the block, the junction block. So that's going to be next. All right. So now I've got to focus my energy and my light over here. So all right, so back with the ratchet. Okay. And I've got to take that clip loose on top of the rear axle. There's a clip up there that holds the brake line in place. And this clip has got to come loose. There. So there we go. Getting it pried back here a little bit. So, same drill over here, 12 millimeter, or I'm sorry, 13 on the that bracket. That's a little support bracket. That thing out of the way there, and then go ahead and take the banjo bolt loose. Okay. So there we go. Banjo bolt is loose. I'm going to take it out. Take it off there. Okay. All right, so there we go. All right, so there we are. So next is there is a retainer up here. It sits up here on top of the rear axle. And I gotta get that son of a gun loose. So I'll be right back. I can't hold the camera and work the wrench at the same time, so I'll be right back. I'll tell you what, wait a minute. Maybe I can show you a little something of that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, I see the fastener up there. Kept hitting the exhaust pipe with my ratchet. All right, I'll be right back, folks. Okay, y'all, as you can see, my pile of parts is getting smaller. I've got the new hose on over here. I did not film it because it's identical in installation to the other side over there, okay? The only difference being that this one's got the metal line that comes off of it, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so now I've got to make the new line that's going from there. I got to bend it to there. Okay, so I got to bend that. So let's get started. I've got the old one out. And so here we go. All right, so here's my new line right here. I'm using this and this adapter because of the end on the junction block there where it comes down the rear axle. It's got a different fitting than where it goes into this new line right here, okay? So the new line right there has got a different fitting. So, and I've looked and looked and looked. I cannot find anybody that sells that whole piece, okay? Nobody. I've looked and looked and looked. Nobody sells it. So all I can do is this right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and adapt, screw that onto there like so, then this will screw into there, like so, and then I'm going to bend this line here to match the old line there, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I got to get my tubing bender pliers. And some of this line isn't tremendously hard to work with. So that's pretty similar right there. All right, I got to get my tubing bending pliers. My tubing bender, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I just looked at the timer. It's like 39 minutes into this video. And I try to keep, I don't like to make them this long. So I'm going to make this into a two-parter, okay? My apologies, but that's just the way it goes, okay? There's just a lot of work here. And I think this bending, this tubing is going to take a little more time. So, okay? So anyway, all right. I'll be back. You can catch me on the next video, and I really appreciate you all tuning in and watching, and I thank you so much. I really, really do. Seriously. And also, I'm up over 670 subscribers now, so that's pretty big. Mind-blowing, really. I really appreciate it. It's really something. Really, I do. So, thank you. God bless. Have a great one.